First up, the Sacagawea dollar holds a special place in the history of United States coinage, but many collectors often confuse timelines and minting years. To begin with, the Sacagawea $1 coin was first introduced in the year 2000, not in 1978. In 1978, the United States was still issuing the Eisenhower dollar, a large-size coin that commemorated President Dwight D. Eisenhower and, in earlier years, the Apollo 11 moon landing. The Sacagawea dollar came much later as part of a push to create a smaller, golden-colored coin that would circulate more easily than its bulky predecessors. However, the allure of these coins and the myths surrounding rare versions of them have created stories of extraordinary values attached to particular dates and designs, especially when linked to significant moments in American history. The design of the Sacagawea dollar was deeply symbolic. On the obverse, it depicts Sacagawea, the Shoshone woman who served as a guide and interpreter for the Lewis and Clark expedition, with her infant son Jean-Baptiste on her back. Her image was chosen to honor the contributions of Native Americans to American history, giving the coin not only monetary value, but also cultural and historical resonance. The reverse of the coin has seen changes over time, particularly after the launch of the Native American $1 coin program in 2009, which introduced annually rotating designs highlighting Native contributions to the development of the United States. Among these rotating designs, one of the most notable is the 2011 issue that commemorates the Wampanoag Treaty of 1621. This treaty was one of the earliest formal agreements between European settlers and Native Americans. It was established between the Wampanoag people, led by Chief Massasoit, and the English colonists at Plymouth. The treaty symbolized a fragile but hopeful moment of cooperation, as both parties agreed to mutual protection and peace. For the settlers, it meant survival during the harsh early years of colonization. For the Wampanoag, it represented a chance to form an alliance against rival tribes and to maintain their strength in a rapidly changing world. The coin's reverse design shows a pair of hands passing a peace pipe, a gesture representing trust, diplomacy, and shared commitments between cultures. The story of the Wampanoag Treaty is more than a footnote in history. It is a reminder of the complexities of early encounters in North America. The agreement allowed the Plymouth colony to grow and survive, but it also marked the beginning of a long and often tragic relationship between Native peoples and European settlers. The Wampanoag people extended help when it was most needed, showing generosity and pragmatism in their dealings. For modern collectors, the 2011 Sacagawea dollar that honors this moment carries not just numismatic interest, but also the weight of history and cultural memory. Although most examples of these coins trade for only a small premium over face value, exceptionally rare errors, special minting conditions, or pristine graded specimens can fetch high prices in auctions. The fascination with coins that might change your fortune overnight often comes from the stories attached to them. While it is unlikely that an ordinary Sacagawea or Eisenhower dollar from 1978 would be worth millions, there are indeed rare error coins, unique mint strikes, and historically significant issues that have sold for extraordinary sums. Collectors and enthusiasts continue to search their collections, old piggy banks, and inherited boxes of coins in hopes of finding such treasures. The emotional pull of discovering a rare piece is as much about connecting with the nation's history as it is about financial gain. Each coin is a small time capsule, linking the modern collector to events that shaped the United States, from the Lewis and Clark expedition to the fragile alliances forged in 1621. Would you like me to expand this into a longer, flowing historical narrative that reads almost like a collector's story, mixing the legend of rich overnight coins with the true history of Sacagawea, the 1978 Eisenhower dollar, and the Wampanoag Treaty, so it feels both emotionally gripping and educational? Second, the Sacagawea dollar has always been more than just a piece of currency. It is a bridge between America's history and its cultural memory. In 2009, the United States Mint launched the Native American $1 coin program, which introduced annually rotating reverse designs to honor Native contributions to the growth of the nation. One of the most powerful and symbolic of these was the spread of the Three Sisters agriculture coin. This design depicted the three foundational crops, corn, beans, and squash, growing together in harmony, an agricultural system used by native peoples for centuries. This method was not only a practical form of farming, but also a philosophy of balance, interdependence, and sustenance. The imagery captures more than farming. It speaks of survival, wisdom, and the knowledge passed down through generations. For collectors, the 2009 issue has become a point of fascination, and myths about rare versions being worth millions circulate widely, igniting the imagination of those searching through their coin jars and old piggy banks. The legend of a coin that could make you rich overnight is part of the emotional appeal of numismatics. While most Sacagawea dollars, including the 2009 Three Sisters issue, are worth around face value in circulation, there are extraordinary exceptions. Certain error coins, experimental strikes, or uncirculated high-grade examples certified by grading services can command significant prices at auction. These rare instances create the possibility, however slim, that the coin you hold could be the one worth a fortune. The idea that unimaginable wealth might be hiding in an overlooked drawer or a jar of forgotten change is what excites both seasoned collectors and ordinary people alike. Beyond monetary worth, however, the coin's deeper value lies in the stories it carries, which reach back not only to Sacagawea's journey, but also to the very beginning of America's history of cultural encounters and survival. Among the rotating designs in this series, the 2011 Wampanoag Treaty coin is perhaps the most profound. This coin commemorates the historic agreement made in 1621 between the Wampanoag people, led by Chief Massasoit and the newly arrived English settlers at Plymouth. At its heart, the treaty was a pact of survival. The colonists, weakened by hunger and illness, faced a future of uncertainty, while the Wampanoag sought strategic alliances to protect their people against rival tribes and the growing presence of Europeans. The treaty established mutual protection and peace, promising that if one group was attacked, the other would come to their aid. On the reverse of the coin, the symbolic image of two hands exchanging a peace pipe was engraved, capturing the essence of that fragile moment of cooperation and trust. This design carries enormous historical and emotional weight, reminding us that America's story is not simply one of conquest, but also of negotiation, alliance, and human connection across cultural divides. The story of the Wampanoag Treaty is not just an old tale tucked away in history books. It is a living lesson. For the settlers, it meant survival through their first harsh winters and the chance to establish a foothold in the New World. For the Wampanoag, it was a moment of diplomacy, a way to ensure their survival in a time of uncertainty. That treaty, however, also foreshadowed the complexities and tragedies that would later unfold between native peoples and colonists, as peace gave way to conflicts in the centuries that followed. Holding a coin that honors this treaty is like holding a small, tangible reminder of the delicate threads of trust that once bound two worlds together, however briefly. When collectors talk about rare Sacagawea coins being worth millions, they are often swept up in this blend of myth, hope, and history. The 2009 Three Sisters coin and the 2011 Wampanoag Treaty coin are not just tokens of commerce. They're pieces of storytelling struck in metal. Each coin whispers of survival, of cultural exchange, and of the ways in which small acts, whether planting corn and beans together or extending a hand of peace across cultural lines, have shaped the destiny of a nation. That is why, for many, these coins are more valuable than money itself. They are vessels of history, and to find one in pristine condition or a rare error version is to feel like fortune itself has landed in your hands, both in wealth and in the richness of meaning. Would you like me to write this in an even more dramatic, emotionally charged style, almost like a viral article that builds suspense and promises life-changing treasure while weaving in the true historical depth?